Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be going over how to access and set up your Laulima course site. And what I'd like you to do is navigate to Laulima if you haven't already. Should look like what's on the screen here. And we're going to need to access Laulima by logging in. You're going to be using your UHID and password. So I'm going to go ahead and type mine on in. Okay, when you first get into Laulima, you're sort of in a front foyer of a house, sort of in a way. You're actually in a location called home, and you can see that to the top left here under the word Laulima. This is just kind of like your staging area, and you'll see all the buttons here for your courses. Now, if you don't see your course that you're wanting, you can come over here and go to the sites drawer, and this is up here to the left of your ID. So if you all click on sites, it will pull up the listing of all your courses. And what you want to do is go down and navigate to the course you want to enter. To do that, you've got two options. You can either click on a button and then it will immediately go to that course. Or here's another thing. If you want the course button to always show up at the top of your page, you can set it as a favorite, and that's denoted by the little star icon. So if you want that button to always be there when you log in for the semester, could be previous semester and this current semester, you just click on the star. And likewise, if you decide you don't want that button to be there any longer, then you would click on the star again. So it's like a little toggle, and then you can turn that off. Now you'll notice if I add the star, there is no save button per se, but what they do set up here for you is it's an X. You just close the window, and then what you're looking for, whoops, let me get that out of the way. What you're looking for is this reload to see your updated favorite sites. So what that's going to do is when you click on the reload, it will refresh your browser, and then your button will show up here, and it will always be there until you turn off the star. Okay, the next item is it would be nice to know how to add tools to your course, because when you first get a what I call a vanilla course site, you're going to get a default set of tools. And we recommend that there are a few other tools that you should be adding, those being assignments, Gradebook Classic, Syllabus, and the tests and quizzes. So let's go into our courses where we'd like to add these tools, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to enter my course, Hilo Training Demo 5, and then we'll see here there's a way to add your tools. Get him set up. Can get him set up. Okay. All right. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a number of default tools. Again, these are the vanilla ones that come with all tools. And what we need to do is target in here on Site Info in your left-hand course menu. So let's click on Site Info. Okay. I like to think of the Site Info area as your one-stop shopping area because it allows you to do many things with the management or for the management of your course. Those being managing your tools, that would be adding and taking away tools, changing the names or the locations of the tools in your course menu bar, managing groups, and so on and so forth. The two that we're going to key in on today are Manage Tools and Tool Order. So first thing I'm going to do is click on Manage Tools. And you'll see that there's going to be a list of course site tools here. As I scroll down, I'm going to click on the checkbox to add the tools that we recommend. Again, would be assignments. As we scroll down, we're going to check Gradebook Classic, Syllabus, and tests and quizzes. And once you add the tools with the check marks, you can then come down and click on your Continue button. you'll come up with a screen that's a confirmation screen. So it's essentially just making sure that these are all the tools that you want to add. If you forgot one, you can always click the back button and go back and add. Or if you're adding one here in this list that you didn't want, you can go back and uncheck it. If you're happy with your selection, we're going to click on the Finish button. And now on the left-hand side, we'll see the new buttons added. Typically, they're added at the very bottom. You might not want them to be on the bottom. You might want them to be in a particular order. Some faculty like to have them in order of importance. So for instance, you would have your overview page, which is the front, I guess again, it's like a front foyer of this course. It's a starting point for the students. And you might want to have the next most important button underneath. That could be the syllabus, and so on and so forth. Some faculty like to have under the overview, they like to have the buttons in alphabetical order. So it's really up to you how you want to organize your course menu. So again, we're going to go back to Site Info, and we're going to see how do you move those buttons and rename them. Again, we're going to come over here. We're looking at Tool Order. Okay. Now, when you first come up to Tool Order, you're going to see a list of all the tools, and you'll see to the far left of each one, there are 3 little gray bars or lines. And that's what you want to click on, and then you're going to click with your left mouse button, drag, and drop into position. So for example, on this syllabus item here, to the far left, I'm going to click, drag, and drop right up underneath Overview. So I can continue doing that with order of importance, or I can just start putting things in alphabetical order. There is a sort alphabetically down here at the bottom if you wanted to just go ahead and do that, or you could just click, drag, and drop them. It's really up to you. Notice also, oops, let's see, we gotta move that guy. Notice to the right of Site Info, you're going to see a gray eye with a slash through it. What that means is that tool is hidden from the students. You can see it because that's your management, site management area. You wouldn't want the students to see that. So it's telling you that it's not visible to the students. So that's what that little gray eye means. Now, if you want to change the names of tools or even make them invisible like the Site Info, if you click on the gray little gear icon to the far right, you're going to get a tool menu here, or a menu here. And one of them is Edit Tool Title. So if I click on that, it pulls up a little box. It outlines the name of this tool, and it gives us an opportunity to change the name of the tool. Once you change the name of the tool, you'll want to come here and click on the green check mark. And what that essentially is doing is giving Laulima permission to make that change to that tool. It's not saving the rest of these moves or anything else that we did. It's just for what's in that box, that outline box. So you have to remember to click the green check mark. Okay. Once you're finished with that, you're happy with the placement of your buttons and the names, you can click Save. The next item I wanted to talk about was uploading your syllabus. Now, some faculty just like to put their syllabus in the resources tool, and that's fine because that's a good place to put it. It makes sense. But another option that you can also do is you have your syllabus tool here. You just have a secondary place for your students to find your syllabus. And there's a couple of options when you fill in the syllabus tool. So if we go to syllabus, you can see I already have a couple of items here. And if I expand it, you'll see this is what it would look like to the students. I could have, for this syllabus spring 2020, I could have some text in here, and I could also add an attachment. Okay, you could have different sections. Now, what I'm not advocating is that you completely have to redo your syllabus and copying and pasting it in. No, you don't have to do that. what you can do is you can come up here to add item, and then you give it a name. Typically for this, it's just a title. I'm just gonna name mine syllabus. Okay. Now you could put content in here in the future if you decide that you would prefer just to go ahead and type all of your syllabi text in here. That's great. You can do that. But what I'm going to advocate right now is that you just add an attachment, which you probably already have your syllabus put together in a Word file. So you can just go ahead and use that as it is. No need to reinvent the wheel. So we've got this created here. I'm going to come down and say add and publish. And you'll see now that I have my syllabus spring 2020. And if I click on its name, it expands, and I have an add attachments here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add attachments. Okay, so now I have a couple of choices. Here at the top, it's upload local file. I could just click the browse button, and then I could navigate to my hard drive, and I could then upload the document. So I might have my syllabus here, and I could then upload it from my hard drive. Another option, however, is if you've already uploaded it to your resources folder, you could then come here, you find the syllabus document here, you could attach a copy. Depending on which one you do, you notice that there's a continue here at the top where you would browse and find, or a continue at the bottom if you're just selecting the item in your resources. Either one, it's the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay, so this is what it would look like to the students. They would come in, they would see your syllabus 2020 here, and they would see your attached document. They could just click on it and then open it in Word. Now, again, it is kind of a better idea to load your syllabus into resources, because that way you then have that file in two places. If you just upload to the syllabus tool, that file is only in the syllabus tool. So in other words, it does not then, if you upload it to syllabus, it does not then put it into resources for you. It doesn't work that way. So, but either one, whichever one's going to work for you to get your syllabus up, that's the most important thing. Okay. So that being said, then how do you organize your resources and work with your resources tool now that you've seen its capability, especially with the syllabus? If you go to your course menu on the left-hand side, you can click on the resources tool. And you'll see here that I have my syllabus and I have one folder called week 16. Now, everybody's different. It's up to you how you want to set up your organization in resources. You can set it up by weeks, you can set it up by units, by chapters, or it might make sense to have one folder called lectures and one folder called readings. It doesn't matter. It's what makes sense to you and will help you and your students navigate your resources and find things quickly and efficiently. So I'm just going to go along with the theme of a week. Well, how do you add a folder? To the far right over here, you see that you have the actions button for the upper level resources tool itself. And you got to think about resources like a file folder, a file cabinet. And then inside the file cabinet, there are drawers or folders and files in those drawers and folders. So what we're going to do is at this upper level here, we're going to create a folder by clicking on actions and then create folders. Okay, so I had a week 16 already, so I'm just going to create a new one called week 17 to continue with my theme here. Now, one great thing here is that there's a link that says add another folder. So I can click on that. and it'll open up another little text box, and I can continue creating all of my folders. So just remember, you don't have to go back and forth and back and forth. You can just click on add another folder and continue making all the ones that you want. But once you're done, you can then click create folders now. Okay, so you notice that if you look at your resources, or actually just look at mine because it'll make more sense to you, you'll see that these two icons look different. For instance, week 16 has a dark colored folder and a plus sign, whereas week 17 has just a plain grayed out little folder guy here. That means that it is empty. And if you look to the far right, it says 0 items are in this folder. But the one above it that was blue and has a plus sign has 1 item. So that's just the indicator showing you that one folder is empty and one is not. Now, how did I get something in week 16? Well, just as we did here to create the folders with the actions, we do the same with each individual folder. So if I wanted to add something to week 17, I would come here to actions, and then I would look at my choices. What am I going to do? What do I want to do? I want to upload files. Okay, that would be great for readings, your lecture files, any of the content course materials that you want to disseminate to the students. Another option is if you have certain web links that you like the students to go to, could be publication websites, news websites, could be even YouTube videos that you want the students to watch. You could capture that URL and then come here and click on add web links. So there's lots of different choices for you, but for today, right now, I'm just going to click on upload files. And then what happens here is you get the upload files window, and it gives you 2 choices. You can either drag and drop your files into this box, this dotted box, or you can click to browse. So I'm just going to go ahead and click to browse. It's either one, whichever you're more happy with. And then again, I'm just going to stay in my syllabus examples folder here, and I'm going to find something that I want to upload. Let's say I want to upload a another document. So I would click that, and then I would click open, and it pops it in here. Now, it's not added yet. It's just sitting there waiting because you might want to be adding more and more and more into this dotted box. Now, here's something that you really need to pay attention to. Right here, it says that you cannot upload more than 150 megabytes of material at once. So if you do have one file that's 150 megabytes, you will only be able to upload that one file by itself. However, if you have a number of files, you could sit here and add as many as you want, but as long as they don't go over 150 total, you'll be okay. But that's an important thing to always remember. Once we're done adding all of our files that we want to upload, we will then click continue, and it's thinking. Okay, so now we see to the far right, we see that week 17 now has 1 item, week 16 has 1 item, and their 2 little icons are similar. We have a little bit of time. I'll just take just a few minutes here to show you one extra thing. It's optional. Has to do with your sites drawer again. You'll notice here, we talked about the buttons here at the top that will always be there when you log in as long as you have them starred in your site drawer. But what if you don't like the order that these buttons are in? Well, you can actually change that order. So again, if we go up to the sites drawer up here to the left of our user ID, click that, and you'll see that there is an Organize Favorites tab. So I'm going to click on that, Organize Favorites. And there you see all of the buttons that you have set as favorites. And again, we're going to look for those little 3 bars, little 3 lines, and we're going to click, drag, and drop. Okay. The other thing we can do is, let's say that we don't want to have some of these starred anymore. We could actually click and unstar it. We don't have to scroll down on that long list that we saw on the previous Sites tab. We can do it from right here. And again, there is no Save button. We're going to click on the X and then Reload. Okay, and now we look up here and we see that the Demo 5 is now in the new position. The other course was taken away, and we can then put things where we want them in the future.